Hello everyone and welcome back to EduTalks. I'm your host, Marco, and today we're diving into one of the most important topics for English learners and professionals around the world, job interviews. Whether you're applying for your very first position or aiming for a promotion in an international company, interviews can feel stressful. But don't worry. By the end of today's episode, you'll not only learn some practical tips, but also gain the confidence to communicate clearly in English during an interview. And joining me today is someone very special, an experienced career coach and communication trainer, Erica Green. Erica, welcome to EduTalks. How are you feeling today?
Hi, Marco. Thank you so much for having me. I'm feeling excited because job interviews are one of my favorite topics to talk about. I've helped hundreds of students and professionals prepare for interviews in English, and I'm looking forward to sharing those insights with your listeners.
That's wonderful! So, Erica, let's begin with the basics. Why do job interviews make people feel so nervous, especially when English is not their first language?
That's such a good question. Interviews can be nerve-wracking because they combine two pressures at once. 1. Performance pressure, you want to impress the interviewer. 2. Language pressure, if English isn't your native tongue, you might worry about grammar, vocabulary, or pronunciation. But here's the truth. Interviewers aren't looking for perfect English. They're looking for clarity, confidence, and authenticity. If you can express your ideas clearly and show your personality, that's much more powerful than memorizing complicated words.
Exactly! And I think a lot of learners need to hear that. Sometimes we think, oh, I need to sound perfect. But in reality, interviewers just want to know if we can communicate effectively.
Absolutely. And one great strategy is to practice storytelling. Instead of giving one word or short answers, you can structure your answers as little stories. For example, if they ask, "Tell me about a challenge you faced at work," you can follow a simple formula: situation, action, result.
I love that situation, action, result. Could you maybe give us a quick example?
Of course, let's say the question is, "Tell me about a time you solved a problem." Here's how I would answer. Situation. At my last job, our team was struggling with delayed projects. Action. I introduced a new project management tool and trained my teammates. Result. Within 2 months, our projects were finished 20% faster. See? Short, clear, and powerful.
That's such a great structure. And honestly, it works even outside of interviews.
Yes, exactly. It's a communication skill you can use anywhere.
Now, before we go deeper, I'd like to ask you, Erica, what are some common mistakes candidates make in English job interviews?
Great question. I would say the 3 biggest mistakes are: 1. Overusing memorized phrases. People sometimes memorize textbook answers like, "I am a hardworking person and a team player." Interviewers hear that every day, and it doesn't sound authentic. 2. Speaking too fast. When nervous, candidates often speak quickly, which can make their English harder to understand. 3. Not preparing examples. Many people think they can just go with the flow. But in English, preparation is key. You need examples ready to show your skills.
Oh yes, I've definitely been guilty of speaking too fast when I was nervous.
We all have, Marco. But here's a tip. Before you go into an interview, practice slow breathing. Even one deep breath can slow your speech and calm your mind.
That's really helpful. And, one thing our listeners often ask is, what should I say at the very beginning of the interview? Because the introduction can feel scary.
Yes, first impressions matter. A simple, confident introduction is enough. Something like, "Good morning, thank you for having me. My name is Erica and I'm very excited about this opportunity." You don't need to say too much. Just be polite, smile, and make eye contact. That already sets a positive tone.
Perfect! I think that's a great note to wrap up this first section. Now, Erica, let's go a little deeper. Our listeners are probably wondering, okay, but what should I actually say in English during an interview?
Yes, exactly. A lot of learners ask me, "Erica, what's the right phrase or vocabulary to use?" So now, let's look at some expressions and answers that are natural, polite, and professional.
Greeting and starting the interview. Let's begin right at the start. Imagine you've just walked into the room or joined the Zoom call. How do you greet the interviewer confidently?
Keep it simple and polite. For example, "Good morning. Thank you for inviting me today. It's a pleasure to meet you. I've been looking forward to this interview. Hello, I'm Erica Green. Thank you for giving me this opportunity." Each greeting is short, professional, and positive.
Yes! And honestly, when you begin with gratitude saying thank you, it makes a very strong first impression. Talking about yourself. All right, then comes the classic. Tell me about yourself. This one makes people freeze.
Absolutely, Marco, but there's a simple formula: present, past, future. Present, where you are now. Past, a little about your background. Future, why you're excited about this role. Example: currently, I work as a marketing assistant at XYZ company. In the past, I studied business administration and completed several internships in digital marketing. In the future, I'd like to grow my career by taking on more responsibility, and that's why I'm very interested in this role at your company.
That's brilliant. Simple, clear, and it flows like a story.
Exactly. That's why interviewers love it. It's structured and easy to follow.
Describing strengths? Another big question. What are your strengths?
First, avoid empty phrases like, "I'm hardworking." Everyone says that. Instead, pick a specific strength and give an example. For instance, "One of my strengths is adaptability. When our team had to switch to remote work, I learned new tools like Slack and Zoom quickly, and I helped train my teammates. I'm very detail-oriented. In my last project, I spotted errors before they became serious problems, which saved the company both time and money."
Yes, the example makes it sound real, not just words. Talking about weaknesses. And then the dreaded one, what's your biggest weakness?
The trap question. The trick is, be honest, but show how you're improving. Example: sometimes I feel nervous about public speaking, but I've been practicing by leading small team meetings and I'm getting more confident. This shows honesty plus growth.
Much better than saying, my weakness is that I work too hard, right?
Exactly. Fake answers don't work. Interviewers prefer self-awareness.
Answering, why should we hire you? Another classic, why should we hire you?
Here, connect your skills to their needs. For example, "You should hire me because I bring strong analytical skills and creativity which match perfectly with your company's focus on innovation. I'm also excited to learn from your experienced team." It's about showing how you fit into their goals.
I love that it's not just about you, it's about them too. Polite phrases during the interview. Sometimes little polite phrases make a huge difference. Can you share a few?
Definitely. Here are some that sound very professional. "That's a great question, thank you. May I give you an example? Could you please clarify what you mean by?" If I may add, I'd like to share a short story from my experience. These show confidence and respect.
That's like a secret toolbox for interviews. Closing the interview. Finally, before the interview ends, is there something polite we can say to leave a lasting impression?
Yes. At the end, when they ask, "Do you have any questions for us?" never say number. Ask something thoughtful, like, "What does success look like in this role? How would you describe the company culture?" And then finish with gratitude. "Thank you again for your time today. I really enjoyed learning more about your company, and I'm very excited about this opportunity."
That's such a professional way to close.
Yes, it leaves them with a positive final impression.
All right, Erica, this is all really useful. But you know what? I think our listeners will learn even faster if we give them a little practice round. What do you say, should we try a mini mock interview?
I love that idea, Marco. Practice is the best teacher. So let's simulate a short interview right here. I'll play the role of the hiring manager and you can be the candidate.
Oh wow, I didn't expect that. But all right, let's do it.
Mock interview round. "Good morning, Marco. Thank you for coming in today. Could you please start by telling me a little about yourself?"
Certainly. I currently work as a content creator, specializing in educational podcasts and online learning materials. In the past, I studied communication and worked on several media projects. In the future, I'd like to grow my expertise in producing high-quality educational content, which is why I'm very excited about this opportunity.
Excellent. See how you use the present past future formula? Very clear, very natural.
Yes, I remembered your advice.
Next question. What would you say is one of your biggest strengths?
I'd say one of my strengths is adaptability. For example, during the pandemic, when our production team had to shift to remote work, I quickly learned new software and even helped train my colleagues.
Perfect. Notice how she didn't just say adaptability, but gave a real-life example. That's what makes the answer powerful. Now, let's go to the tricky one. What's a weakness you're working on?
Honestly, I sometimes struggle with being too detail-oriented. I can spend too much time polishing small things. But lately, I've been using productivity tools to manage my time better and balance perfection with efficiency.
Yes, that's a strong answer because it's honest, but also shows improvement. Okay, final question in our mini practice. Why should we hire you?
Because I bring creativity and communication skills that align with your company's mission of educating and inspiring people. I also work well with teams, and I'm eager to grow within this role.
Bravo! That was concise, confident, and connected to the company's values.
Reflection on the mock interview. Oh, I feel like I just went through a real interview.
And you did great. But here's the important lesson. You don't need perfect English. What matters is structure, clarity, and confidence.
Yes, and practicing like this, even just 5 minutes a day, can make a huge difference.
Absolutely. Learners can practice with a friend, record themselves, or even do it in front of a mirror. The key is repetition. Every time you repeat, your brain becomes more comfortable.
Common interview mistakes. Before we move on, Erica, could you highlight a few common mistakes learners should avoid?
Of course. Here are some I see often. 1. Speaking too fast. Slow down, pause, and breathe. It makes you sound more confident. 2. Memorizing entire answers. It sounds robotic. Instead, memorize only key points. 3. Ignoring body language. Sit up straight, smile, and make eye contact. 4. Forgetting to listen. Many candidates focus so much on their answer that they miss the actual question.
Yes, that last one is huge. Listening carefully is just as important as speaking clearly.
Exactly. An interview is a conversation, not a speech.
Emotional encouragement. Erica, I can feel our listeners still thinking, but what if I get nervous?
It's natural to feel nervous. Everyone does, even native speakers. The trick is to reframe nerves as excitement. Before you walk into the interview, tell yourself, I'm not nervous, I'm excited. That small shift changes your energy completely.
That's so true. And I think that's very comforting for our listeners to hear.
Yes, because at the end of the day, interviews are not about being perfect. They're about showing who you are, how you think, and how you'll add value.
Erica, this has been so eye-opening. We've talked about mindset, key phrases, and even practiced a mock interview. But let's say someone wants to go beyond the basics. What advanced tips would you give to really stand out in a job interview?
Great question. Once you've mastered the foundations, the next step is to focus on storytelling, cultural awareness, and authenticity. The power of storytelling. Many candidates list skills like, I'm a team player, or I'm creative, but the best candidates tell stories. For example, instead of saying, I'm a problem solver, say, last year, our project was behind schedule. I suggested breaking it into smaller phases, which helped us deliver on time. That experience taught me how valuable creative problem solving can be. Stories make you memorable because humans remember narratives, not bullet points.
Yes, that makes so much sense. It's like turning your interview into a highlight reel of your real experiences.
Exactly. Think of 3 stories your proudest achievement, a challenge you overcame, and a time you worked in a team. Use them when the interviewer asks different questions.
Cultural awareness in interviews. What about cultural differences? Our audience is global, so not every interview is the same.
Excellent point. In Western cultures, being direct and confident is appreciated. But in some Asian cultures, humility and respect are more valued. So, research the company culture. For example, if you're interviewing with an American company, they might expect you to sell yourself strongly. But if it's a Japanese company, they may prefer modesty and teamwork over self-promotion.
So the key is balance?
Exactly. Show confidence, but also show you can adapt to the company's values.
Non-verbal communication. We've talked a lot about language. But what about body language?
Oh, it's huge! Studies show that nonverbal cues sometimes speak louder than words. Sit upright but not stiff. Smile genuinely. Keep your hands visible, not hidden. If online, look at the camera, not just the screen. These small actions communicate confidence and trustworthiness.
That's gold, especially for online interviews. Handling difficult questions. Okay, here's a tough one. What if the interviewer asks something we really don't know how to answer?
That happens to everyone. The trick is to stay calm and buy yourself time. For example, say, "That's an interesting question. May I have a moment to think? I don't have direct experience with that, but here's how I would approach it." Honesty plus problem solving is always better than panicking.
So it's okay not to know everything.
Of course, nobody expects perfection. They want to see how you think under pressure.
Questions to ask the interviewer. Earlier, you mentioned asking good questions at the end. Can we go deeper into that?
Definitely. Here are some great ones. What opportunities for growth does this role offer? How do you support professional development for employees? What are the next steps in the hiring process? These show that you're not only interested in the job, you're thinking long term.
That's smart. It flips the interview into a two-way conversation.
Exactly. And companies love candidates who see themselves as future partners, not just job seekers.
Final encouragement. Erica, before we wrap up, what final words of encouragement do you have for learners preparing for interviews?
I'd say this: you are more capable than you think. Don't let language barriers hold you back. Employers want people who are eager to learn, who bring value, and who show character. If you prepare, practice, and stay true to yourself, you can succeed anywhere.
That's powerful. Thank you so much, Erica. And that brings us to the end of today's episode. I hope you're leaving with practical tips and renewed confidence for your next job interview. To all our listeners, if you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to subscribe to EduTalks on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. Share this episode with a friend who's preparing for an interview, and leave us a comment about which tip helped you the most.
Best of luck to everyone out there. You've got this.
This is Marco from EduTalks, signing off. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep believing in yourself.